Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to this week's segment of Live Without Limits. Today's show is titled Make the Jump from Employee to Entrepreneur. Since the latter part of the 20th century, when corporations started cutting back simply because they had multiple people doing the same jobs, because corporations were merging. And many of those middle managers to upper managers that left the corporation went to work for themselves as entrepreneurs. Therefore, we are going to talk about what it takes to move from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur. Past success is no guarantee of future success, so I have learned to be an entrepreneur. I began to produce and direct my own projects with Ian Ziering. And one thing that we need to understand and you need to look at is, and this is the biggest thing about why you find a lot of bad press for many an actor, because whereas back in the early part of the 20th century, actors worked for the studios and they got projects based on the studio heads wanted to do with the actor. As time moved on, they no longer had the studio system, so actors had to put together their own marketing plan on how to market themselves and become successful long term, simply because there's only going to be maybe one or two long-term jobs that you can get in front of the camera. And if you don't know how to go behind the camera, or if you don't have any interest in it, you're out of the business, because really there's only 0.5% that are actually successful and know how to transition and make a career, a long-term career. Therefore, what we want to do is talk about things that you can do that can truly help you take your business to the next level, no matter who you are or where you come from. And the best way to do that is to understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur in today's marketplace. So, let's talk about what it takes to move yourself from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. Making the decision to drop from employee to entrepreneur full-time and go all in on my own business was one of the hardest and most rewarding experiences of my life. After working in corporate America for 15 years, I started my own business. One of the biggest challenges I faced was transitioning from the structured environment of the employee to my new flexible lifestyle as an entrepreneur. And let's talk about a little bit about that before we really go on. When you work for someone, you have certain hours that you go in, you have certain meeting times that you have to be there. You only have a certain period of time that you can take a lunch break or any other type of break. But as an entrepreneur, you have to learn to manage your own time. And that means putting together a schedule for yourself. For instance, one of the things I do, because I know I need to exercise at least 3 days a week, is I plan that and I put that into my schedule every week. And because I don't have a car, I make sure that I schedule transportation 2 weeks in advance. This way, there's no way at the last minute I can back out and say, no, I'm not going to do it today. And sure, there are days when you wake up and you really don't want to, or the night before you think, God, I've got a lot to do tomorrow, and I don't want to do that. But when you know that you have someone picking you up to take you to that appointment, then you will do and take what it takes. And I always write out the day before what my plans are for that day, because I know that I go to the store 2 days a week, and I know that when the first bus goes and when the next bus comes, because I can usually do all my shopping within 25 to 30 minutes. And when I know that bus comes every 30 minutes, I'm always out there. That way, I have my plan in place. And now I am going to be putting together some videos on some training for a membership site. And I have spent the time putting together the PowerPoint presentations that I will use so that I know exactly the fact that I will be doing 10 short 2 to 5 minute videos that I will be uploading onto my site. And then I will be marketing that program for people to join the site and have an opportunity to view those videos. So the adjustment was hard. While I always thought I was in control of my time, I often felt like I wasn't actually in control of it. If you're bootstrapping your company like I was, you're likely wearing many hats. For example, you're the one creating the product, talking to the customers, and doing the marketing. And it can be overwhelming. And you know what? This is how technology has changed how we do business. Because let me tell you that when I started my business over 30 years ago as a speaker and a trainer, you had to hire someone to come in and videotape all your presentations because you needed a videotape to send out with all your marketing materials to prospective clients or to associations to be hired as a breakout seminar leader or a keynote speaker. Today, that has changed because everything goes on your website, because your website is now your marketing tool. And writing content on your website not only gives them the opportunity to see you in video, but also to see how knowledgeable you are on your topic and any topic that's related to the problem or the issue that company has. So back then, I felt like I was the only one struggling with this career transition. And then I studied attended a conference that included a fireside chat with broadcast journalist Soledad O'Brien. She discussed how hectic her schedule had been when she worked for CNN. She would wake up at 4 a.m. every day in order to be at the studio before 6 a.m. Then she wouldn't get home until 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. in the evening. After spending that time with her family and doing chores, she wouldn't get to bed until 11 p.m. or midnight, and then she'd prepare to do it all over again the next day. Although she admitted that her schedule was crazy back then, it was still a schedule which she followed and didn't have to create herself or even think about. Today, O'Brien has her own media production company, so she gets to make the rules. But she also has the responsibility of setting the priorities of her day and constructing her own schedule. And as it turns out, that this is sometimes even more challenging and overwhelming than the working for a demanding company. What O'Brien said really hit home for me. Back in my corporate job, my schedule for most days was already set. Team meetings were scheduled. Projects had due dates. And we knew when busy season was going to come and how long it was going to last. In addition, I didn't have to worry about marketing campaigns or customer support because we had teams dedicated to that. All I had to do was focus on the accomplishing of my tasks. Eventually, I got better at being my own boss. Here's some advice that helped me transition from employee to entrepreneur. And one of the things that I think we need to incorporate is also time management. But that is something that we will get into later. Take care of your finances. Fear of running out of money and not being able to provide for yourself or your family is one of the biggest reasons people stay at their current job. To conquer the fear, you need to save as much money as you can before making the jump. But how much is enough? When I was an employee, I faced this problem. Do I save enough money for 1 year, 3 years to help me make a decision? I wrote down all my major monthly expenses: rent, food, cell phone bill, car insurance, health insurance. And I created a goal to save enough to cover 2 years' worth of expenses. Why so much? Because no matter how much you estimate things will be, you'll inevitably discover that your new company or product takes longer and costs more than you expected. If you don't have enough savings to cover the expenses for 2 years, plan to work a few contracting jobs to pay the bills while you reverse roles. Instead of working full-time and focusing on your startup on the side, work full-time on your startup and use your nights and weekends for contracting jobs. Taking care of your finances will reduce stress so that you can focus on building your company. And you know what? Today, there are many companies that are looking for people to work as independent contractors, whether it's writing content for a website or whether it's consulting work. There's always opportunities out there for you to generate an extra income. And if not that, you have brick and mortar stores that need people to work part-time. But remember this, many a time what happens for those jobs is that you end up in a situation where, and especially the best jobs that are available are often those jobs where what they're doing is they're looking for people for Christmas or Halloween or Easter, that especially whether it's in the gardening industry, they have seasons, whether it's in retail, they have certain seasons, because one thing is a lot of jobs always are seasonal and they always need extra help or part-time workers. So there's always opportunities, but it may not be exactly what you want to do. Build your support team. Being an entrepreneur is a lonely journey. Sometimes, especially if you worked most of your adult life as an employee, you often don't realize how many other entrepreneurs and friends are employees. It can be hard to relate. You'll need to build your support team by surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Join entrepreneur organizations, attend relevant events, and meet about utilizing a co-working space. If you don't have an organization for entrepreneurs in your town, consider joining an online group. In addition to networking with other entrepreneurs, you need mentors to support and advise. When you first start your business, there'll be no shortage of people giving you their words of wisdom. Friends, spouses, parents, you name it. Take all of that advice with a grain of salt. And when you do choose to listen, be certain it is from a qualified person who's been there, done that, like a mentor or fellow entrepreneur, because watching Shark Tank does not make your friend an expert. And here's something to think about. Social media has grown as far as networking and meeting other entrepreneurs. You can go to meetup groups, you can go to leads clubs. Those are great networking tools, because you know what? You are the only person within your niche who goes to that meeting in that group, and you would be able to have a way to get referrals for your business. And on LinkedIn, more so than Facebook, although I know some people do get business from Facebook, as a professional, LinkedIn is more of an opportunity to network with people who have similar interests, who can refer business to you, or they can tell you what they've been through. And whether you're a coach or a consultant, there's groups on LinkedIn that you can join where you can talk about all the things that you've done to succeed, and they can talk to you, because you know, friends and family, although they have all good intentions, they don't always realize or believe in you and your ability to succeed. Plus, there's an underlying jealousy there, simply because they don't want to see you be more successful than they are in their chosen profession. So remember, all of these things play together. And the idea is, if you're with like-minded people, then you can help each other to believe and support each other towards your end goal. Manage your time. Time management was one of the most difficult challenges I faced in transition from employee to entrepreneur. I found the following techniques help me get more control over my time. Utilize your calendar. Kevin Krause, the author of 15 Secrets to Successful People Know About Time Management, interviewed over 200 ultra successful people, including 7 billionaires, 13 Olympians, and a host of accomplished entrepreneurs for his book. He says the most successful people don't use a to-do list. Instead, they schedule everything on their calendar. According to Krauss, utilizing your calendar to schedule tasks allows you to free up your mind, since you now have a plan for how to address each of your must-do tasks. You can use the calendar to allocate time for things like meetings, writing, exercise, or even time with family and friends. Build daily routines. Lee Michaels, the prolific author of more than 8 romance novels, once said, writing for inspiration to write is like standing at the airport waiting for a train. Conditions to produce one's craft are rarely ideal, and waiting for everything to be perfect is almost always an exercise in procrastination. The idea here is that you need to work on your craft every day. Even if you don't feel inspired, build daily routines to help you get organized and reduce stress so that you can achieve this. After leaving my corporate job, I got into the routine of waking up every day around the same time, even on weekends, so that my body would be accustomed to it. This allowed me to focus on easy clocker all day without getting tired. I also take breaks throughout the day, during which I'll either do a workout or take a walk in the park and listen to a podcast to de-stress and re-energize. Here's technology. With all the apps and websites on the market today, there's really no excuse not to use them to help you save time and be more productive. Tools like FM help you focus. Workflow manages your to-do list if you decide you need one. Sleep Cycle helps you get a better night's sleep. Recurpos help you with social media automation. And Asana aids with the project management, just to name a few. Transitioning from employee to entrepreneur is a huge challenge, and it can be intimidating, but with the right mindset and a plan, you'll discover strengths and capabilities you never knew you had. As David Viscott said, if you have the courage to begin, you have the courage to succeed. And what we need to understand is in managing your time and understanding how time management works. And remember, in time management, there's a lot of procrastination. There's a lot of people who will distract you. And the best way to structure your time is to have it laid out. And remember, one of the things that you truly need to do when you are planning on working is, if you have a family, let them know by setting up your home office in a room where you have a door. That way you can close the door and you can let people know that not to disturb you. And there's one of the things that I have taken by Eric Worre, where he talks about, and his is network marketing and building a sustainable income. And what he talks about is the 90-day plan. And what that 90-day plan says is you plan your time and you let your family know that right now, for the next 90 days, you need to put as much effort into the time you need to plan your business strategy and work your business. And then at the end of that 90 days, you can free up more time to spend with your family. And why is that important? Because your family needs to be a part of your success plan. And it needs to be laid out. And one of the things that I tell people to do is if you have a goal in mind, write that goal and then write all the steps down that it takes to reach that goal. And what that does is that allows you to feel success along the way towards your goal. And share that with your family. Let them know what the end goal is, that what you want, whether it's to take a trip and where you want to take that trip to, and how much money it would take for you to reach that goal of that vacation time. And during that time that you will set aside any work that is included. And that's where network marketing really comes into play. Because this way, and especially if you have a business that you can automate your business, and what people forget, no matter what your business is, you need a website, because whenever you're not putting time and effort into your business, your website is there 24/7, 365 days a year. And when you take time away, you are not working your business, but if you have taken that 90-day session to put and make an effort to put it all together in your business, then guess what? It will allow you to have the time you need to just enjoy that vacation with your family. And then when you come back, because you know what? It's all about the lifestyle choices that you want to make today that will lead you towards the success that you want in the end. And how successful you are today determines long-term. And let's make the final thing of how we put this all together, that when you work for someone else, you are already in a structured environment where you were told where you have to be. But when you are an entrepreneur, you need to recreate that income that you had working for someone else. So you have to have a plan in place. You need to put together a support team that will help you reach your end goal. You need to manage your time more effectively, and you need to know what the process is to build the success of a business. And remember, you can go to my website, and that website is the #1 personalcareercoach.com. And you can sign up for coaching that will help you put together a strategy to build a successful business.